All right, I'm sorry. The Epstein story just won't stop. It won't stop. I have to share this with you. Alex Jones. Okay, so the MAGA reaction to their dear leader, who was supposed to be the hero, and really his friendship with Epstein back in the day, that was just a way of exposing him, really, because Trump was working as a undercover agent to expose the ring, and he's gonna come in, he's gonna reveal everything. The fact that then under Trump, not only did they say we have nothing else to reveal, Trump also got asked in the clip that we covered and went, "Don't stop bringing up Epstein." Meh, meh. And so what we've been covering is how interesting, strange, unique, distorted the MAGA reaction has been to that. Some of them have been honest and said, okay, if this was any other president, we would be very, very upset with the way this has all been dealt with. But some of them, like Alex Jones, were just heartbroken. There was a video of him sort of like crying and saying, I just, please, Trump, don't do this. Don't succumb sort of to the deep state or whatever. But now, upon further reflection, he's floating a new idea. What if this is actually Trump playing 4D chess? Okay? So the Epstein story being quote unquote buried might be Trump doing justice jiu-jitsu. Leading to this headline, they'll show you Alex Jones. MAGA finds a new way to spin Trump administration's Epstein conclusions. Keep the conspiracy alive. What do we mean? Well, I'll let Alex Jones explain. Oh, it would be helpful if I had the audio going through. Here we go.
Trump has taken control. He didn't do it. They're shutting it down from everything I've seen. He is taking control of the FBI CIA blackmail file, and now I suddenly see this deep state more and more rolling over. People say, well, that's very immoral to do. The argument would be it's too damaging to bring this act and bring down the whole government. I'm not endorsing that, but the best approximation I've got is they get the files, they raid the FBI raids the FBI 5 months ago. When they hid the files in New York, they make the guy resign that was covering it up and Comey.
Just everyone think. Get a sip of pep, drinkpep.com, and get focused, okay? Because you're going to lose the thread here. Listen, this is advanced stuff.
In New York, they make the guy resign that was covering it up, and Comey's daughter's still there. They then load the gun, cock the gun, point at the deep state's head, and now suddenly the NATO, everybody's kissing Trump's butt, and it looks like Trump is now in control of the file, and obviously they're not going to read in the FBI. It's the CIA and Ratcliffe doing it. The best approximation I've got, and it is speculation, but I got a lot of points, is that Trump has decided to just use the file against them. What do you think, Judge?
I think you're right on point with that. I think a great deal of what happened with Smith and Millargo when the FBI raided it some years ago, and this thing that clearly they had no standing to go against about him supposedly having classified confidential documents.
So I don't know who this mustache Alex Jones is, but because there's a new guy on screen now, and apparently he's not a relative of Alex Jones, but he looks very similar. Who is this guy? But he's saying maybe the raid had something to do. Maybe they. So far, and producers, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is, I got a little distracted, but I think I'm listening, is that even if Alex Jones doesn't agree with this strategy, Trump closing the case on Epstein and saying there's no other people we can prosecute, there's nothing else to know. There's no files. We can't release any files despite promising to. That is because he took control. So they found the files, he took control of them, he grabbed them. The FBI raided the FBI is the way that Alex Jones said it. And so now they have it. And Trump was faced with a decision. I'm trying to explain what he was saying, but sometimes conspiracy theory speak is really jumbled. So then he said, either I can release this information and take down the government because it'll reveal that everyone was involved, or I can use this to my advantage, and now he's blackmailing the deep state. Okay, so He got the files. Nothing about him's in there. It's just that he's now using them to cock the gun and put it at the head of the deep state. Whatever the living hell that means. I just wish he would. And that's why NATO is now friendly to Trump. NATO's friendly to every U.S. president ever because it's the U.S. president. NATO kind of needs us. We're kind of important, I'll have you know. Anyways, and then this guy, like Alex Jones ripoff, has the Costco version of Alex Jones. Wait, Alex Jones is the Costco version of Alex Jones. I don't know. Is telling us that maybe this has something to do with the Mar-a-Lago raid. Let's keep listening.
Having classified confidential documents when, as we have discussed, the President of the United States under the Constitution as chief diplomat and commander-in-chief has been held to have absolutely unquestionable authority as to what he declares either confidential and secret or decides to declare is not such. So my sneaking suspicion is that a lot of what he refused to turn over to the archivist, which was unconstitutional in terms of what it was trying to put in place through statutory override of constitutional authority, which is wrong, is that there was wrongdoing that if he turned it over to the archivist was going to be turned over to the people who were recorded doing wrong and they would destroy it. So we had an obligation to the people to maintain control of that, which he
maintain control. So let me just quickly now fill you in. I know you're probably following, but just in case you're not. So now I should probably say his name. Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. Okay. Judge Joe Brown. You were a judge? Okay. I can't believe he would say the president has full authority. Trump wasn't the president anymore when he had not the Epstein stuff, the files that were raided. You think that any former president has now access to any documents they want and they can keep them? That doesn't make any sense. What a ridiculous statement. Okay, but Judge Joe Brown is saying the reason the FBI under Biden raided Mar-a-Lago was because they were getting, it sounds like he's going towards the Epstein files from Trump, and Trump had them. Now, the reason Trump didn't reveal them when he had them was because I have no idea. Why don't they ever fill in these gaps? This is your theory, dude. You got to fill it in. He had them for years, all of his presidency, and he just kept them. And that's the reason why he shouldn't have been indicted, because he was doing everything right. And they indicted him.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
While we continue through this, please do click the subscribe button. I appreciate you.
He did, and I see absolutely nothing wrong with it, and it's been dropped, it's dead, it's not there, but he knows that. And I have a sneaking suspicion that when the investigations are completed and they're solid, we're going to start seeing something come out of it.
Well, that's sweet. This is what we mean by a religious belief in Trump. They can't accept that Trump could be doing anything wrong, or that their conclusions about this case weren't right or something. I don't know. So they have to, like the media headline said, they have to, let me click on it if my computer will stop glitching. They have to keep the conspiracy alive. That's their only option. I kind of predicted this too. I said some of them are just going to add a new layer to the conspiracy, which is now, from what I can tell from that clip, Trump is now using, he has them, but I guess the FBI got them. So Trump had them while he was president. He took them with him to Mar-a-Lago, didn't reveal them to the public. We don't know why, because of just shut up. And then they were stolen by the FBI from Mar-a-Lago during the raid, where they went through Melania's drawers. Can you imagine the inhumanity? They raided the Baron's closet. And they got the files. So then Trump, when he came in office, had to raid back the FBI and get them back. So then why isn't he releasing them now? Because he's putting the gun to the head of the deep state. And he's saying, NATO, give me what I want, or I'll release the files. Yeah, I mean, sure. Now, Elon Musk is throwing another... Okay, Elon, what are we doing? If you know something, say something, but what are you doing? Elon just threw out Bannon is in the Epstein files. This was in response to Roger Stone saying stuff against Bannon. Like, Elon, did you see them? Why does he keep saying, if you know... Did you see something specific you'd like to share with us? Can we stop with this? Trump's in them. Bannon's in them. Oh, what do you mean? I'm sorry. Never mind. Then Elon also posted, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? Okay, see, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Because how are we going to put a gun to the deep state's head if we don't have the gun and we can't cock it? Answer that, Elon. No, I'm serious. How are we supposed to take down the deep state if we don't not release the thing that would take them down? How are we supposed to get all of these trade deals we're not getting if we don't use the Epstein files as blackmail? How are we supposed to get Iran to stop their nuclear facilities if we don't have the Epstein files? How are we supposed to make America great again if we don't have the Epstein files as blackmail? That's the question that Alex Jones is throwing out there. Now, if you're concerned that we're not keeping our eye on the ball, okay, we're focusing so much on Epstein and Trump's administration's handling, but we're not keeping the eye on the ball. Don't worry, James Comer is. Comer's still playing the hits on right-wing TV, Aaron Rupar says. And you'll see here that James Comer looking looking great as ever said he always looks like he's suffering from an allergic reaction. Said former Biden aides, this is the low third car, former Biden aides agreed to testify on his mental acuity. So when faced with a question like, is Trump playing 4D chess, cocking the gun to the deep state by keeping the files so that they can still be secret so he can use them as blackmail? And you're thinking, but what does this mean about Biden's mental acuity? What does this mean about Biden's cognition? Somebody is focusing on it, and it's on Newsmax. It's James Comer. So, Superman's gone woke. Did you know? MAGA moans over Superman's immigrant backstory. Somebody needs a hug. Let's just watch this for a second, because I always wonder, what is Fox News going to talk about during a news cycle like this? This? Woke Superman? Oh no. That's going to be copyrighted. We've been getting absolutely blasted by the copyrights lately.
Super woke. James Gunn, the director of the latest reboot movie, said, quote, Superman is the story of America, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost.
I love this so much. I always just love this. Like, I know Jessica Tarlow is setting up the story. She's not playing into it like her conservative hosts, but it's about basic human kindness, which is a value that we've lost. And Fox News is like, no, we haven't lost the kindness virtue. You suck. You're an idiot. We haven't stopped being kind, you little moron. Don't get so upset about such benign quotes like this.
Craig, do you think that's what Superman is all about?
Well, for one thing, it's a terrible analogy. I mean, with Superman, they are sending your best. You know, That's not escalator material. James Gunn nearly lost his job, career. He was fired after they unearthed tweets containing pedophile jokes. So he was like banished, canceled. This is his way back. He's creating a moat of woke, enlightened opinion around him. A lot of Me Too suspects do that. James Franco did it. Harvey Weinstein donated a lot to Democrats because he was running around sexually assaulting people. So this is what you do.
Yeah, Republicans don't ever sexually assault people. That's what here's what I think. I think we can just agree that we should not allow a Democrat to be a presidential candidate if they've been found liable of sexual abuse. Let's just do that. Or we could do Republicans too. How about, Greg? Democrats and Republicans, we should just all agree we're not going to support them if they've been found liable of sexual abuse in any capacity. That works for me. Does it work for you, Greg?
He's got a woke shield.
He's got a woke shield.
A woke moat.
Yeah.
Dana?
Well, I think that I'm at no risk of hurting my 22-year streak of not going to the movie theater.
Damn.
22 years?
Well, that's when I said it.
I love when these hosts also will go, why is the cinema making things political? Movies always have been. You don't have to agree with the message. When I'm watching Superman, am I necessarily thinking of an undocumented immigrant? No, I'm not. But like, I get his point. Superman's an outsider. And we've lost our kindness to people. And Superman represents kindness. I don't know. Maybe. Sure. That's good with me. But there's always political messages. And sometimes you can like a movie, you kind of see what they're doing with the political message. But I don't like, it's kind of like with sports or musicians or celebrities where they go, stop, Taylor Swift, shut up and sing. But then, what's the one, Kid Rock? Who fell off like a zillion years ago, says something pro-Trump, and they're like, yeah, the biggest rock star in the history of the world likes Trump. Just, you can say you don't like their message, but what they went on to talk about in this segment was, I wish that they would just let it be about Superman. Movies need to stop being political. No, there's always going to be messages in the movies. You don't have to agree with it. But that quote, again, was rather benign. He said, yes, it's about politics. An immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it's mostly a story that says basic human kindness. Maybe we appeal to MAGA on immigration by saying, what if, you know how sometimes anti-abortion or anti-choice advocates will say, what if we aborted Einstein? And it's sort of like, okay, now we're cooking with grease. Similarly, we should say, what if we didn't give a visa to Superman? You never know. I think that's actually compelling. What if the next person that you deport is Superman? What are you going to do then? Something to think about. Fox News. Superman's gone woke. Share your thoughts in the comments.